What's up, ladies and gents, and welcome back to Forza Horizon 5. We are here with the seasonal championship pop-up and down, and the name sounds a bit weird, but what it actually means is you have to use cars with pop-up headlights. Now, you can't filter for them, but you can view the eligible cars on the seasonal championship screen. So there are a lot of them. And there are a lot of cool cars on that list. I ended up using the Chevrolet Corvette Z06 from 2002, just because we never really use a Corvette. We use Ferraris a lot, we use Lamborghinis when we get the chance. But we basically never use a Corvette. Very, very rarely. And if so, the later ones, not the older ones. So I thought, let's go for a classic Corvette. Might be one of the very first times that we are using this on a video. Probably not the first. We probably did it before, but definitely a rare occasion, I would say. However, very many cool cars on that list that we could have used. Especially like the Testarossa in front of us, that is an amazing car. The Diablo as well. So definitely a couple of amazing cars here that we could have used. One that I ruled out rather quickly was using a Mazda, because I didn't really want to do that. And what annoys me slightly is that we don't have a street race, but instead we are racing on dirt. But hey, it is what it is, right? I did not pick off-road tires, I picked rally tires. I don't really like the off-road tires for races like this. I very much prefer off-road tires on cross-country. And rally tires for this, or even regular tires for races like this. Because you always have a little bit of tarmac section in between. But I am confident we can get a good result here. With that being said, it's definitely not the easiest thing to do. And these cars are definitely not made for this type of racing, but that is an issue we all have here. And it's actually quite fun to use them. It's actually quite fun to do off-road racing in a Corvette. Now we're back on the road. That is not the section that we can shine on with the rally tires. It's rather unstable, so we're driving very carefully here. That being said, you still have to take some risk and drive with some speed, because you can't just drive slowly and hope everything goes well. That doesn't win you races, unfortunately. It gets you to the supermarket, but it doesn't really get you a race win. We are braking rather conservatively though, I will admit that, because the Corvette on the dirt is quite the beast to tame, so yeah, we are driving rather conservatively. Although it still does mean that we always have to follow the racing line in a lot of these corners, because it just wants you to brake so hard in a lot of corners where you can go full throttle or nearly full throttle, or you just have to lift a little bit. So we're not that conservative here on the brakes, but definitely more than with an actual rally car. Like we had last week with the RS200, that was driven a little bit more aggressively. That was a fun race. It really was. Unfortunately not very popular, because it was the rally DLC, and well, nobody cares about that, but you know, still a very fun race to watch. Or to drive, I mean. I didn't watch it, I drove it, I was there. I was right in the middle of it. So there is that. There is number 2. That'll work well, I hope. There we go, number 2. And I would be under the assumption that we can make it 40 points in race number 2. Because history suggests that that is what we do, but on the other hand, you never know. Things can go wrong and things do go wrong every now and then, so still have to drive it carefully. But it is what it is, so there is really not a whole lot that you can do when a jump goes wrong or you're pushed out and miss a checkpoint or whatever it might be. There are things that can go wrong and that do go wrong every now and then, just not very often, but sometimes they do go wrong. Let's push ourselves into the inside here. Force our way in. See, with these jumps, everything can go wrong in a second. You land wrong, you're off the road, and the race is over. Right then and there. It's a little mean overtake, but it is what it is. Oops. A little bit of landscaping done. I like what they named the skill like that. Landscaping. Okay, hard brake and into the dirt. And I now want to make a move and then cut that checkpoint. Brake late on that one, and that gives us the opportunity to go on the outside. Now we go on the inside. End of lap 1, we can... Oh, we're going into the wall. It's too fast into that corner. Diablo is coming. We're covering the inside. Now they are fighting each other. That's good for us. Now the question is, how aggressively do we drive to catch... What is this? Is it a Testarossa? Looks like one. Now we have that straight coming up. Braking hard but not very long. And taking the lead. So that was a good section for us. Braking again very hard but not very long. Getting off the brakes early and then rolling in with more speed. A little bit of a bump to get him out of the way, but you know, all still somewhat fair. This section as well, one of our better ones, cutting through that checkpoint, braking late here and not a whole lot again. So that definitely one of our better sections. Here we want to brake a little bit more and a little bit earlier, so that we don't bump into the wall again. So we learned something from last lap, which is always beneficial when you have a learning curve, right? Getting off the brakes early again. So that is basically what I am approaching, or my approach here. That's what I want to say. Brake early, but get off the brakes early as well. Brake early, brake hard, but get onto the gas early again. Here as well, brake early, but back on the gas, through the checkpoint. Whoops, that was wall, because we didn't manage to initiate a drift there. That was our issue. Because what I wanted to do was initiate the drift and then get the car turned so that we can get the corner, but we didn't manage to initiate the drift, which led us into the wall. Not a big problem, of course, but definitely also not how I planned it. Here braking early, but then hard through the corner here as well, braking, and then hard through the corner. We're learning how to drive this car on the gravel a little bit better. Because each car behaves a little bit differently and you just need to get a little bit of a feel for it. And every week we are driving these races, and in race 1 you get a little bit of a feel for it, and race 2 you get accustomed to it a little bit more. Especially when you drive it Corvette on the dirt like that. It's okay when you drive your regular, I don't know, M3 on tarmac like we do every other week, but let's quickly do that. There we go. Race number 3. And I hope 60 points. There we go. There are so many pretty cars that I could have chosen. But again, it's one of those cars that gets so little love but deserves so much that I just had to use it. I had this car as a model 1 to 16, I think, or 1 to 18, something like that. In what color did I have it in? I think a black one. But then again, I had a Diablo as well, also black. I had a Countach, also black. I had a lot of black cars. I had a yellow Murcielago. I had a lot. A 40 and a 50 as well, both red. Whoa, going past them there. We're braking into that corner. We're braking into that as well. Oh, we're late on the brakes. Little rumble in the jungle. And going through water. We're up to 3rd already, which is definitely better than I anticipated. Because they were braking a lot in these corners and we were just breezing through a little bit. With some contact here and there, but hey, it happens. I had a Testarossa as well in color that I never know. Yellow, I think a yellow one. Yellow Testarossa. God, I had so many cars, modern cars. I still have a collection, but I'm not entirely sure where they are. I wonder how much they're worth these days. These old cars. Not all of them in the best shape, however, so some of them might not be worth all that much because I was not just collecting them, I was a kid and I was playing with them. So not all of them are in the best shape. Some are, some are not. What else did I have? Viper GTS in blue with white stripes. The classic. An SRT10 in black. A lot more. I had 2 Porsche, some 911, I don't know which ones. What else? Definitely a lot. So there's a little side story while we are breezing through that race again. Tactic. Not really, you don't really need a tactic. I mean, it's driving, it's not a tactic game. But like the approach we are using is brake late. In this race. Don't pay too much attention to the racing line as always. If you do that, it slows you down. Just pay attention, use the opportunities for overtakes. The general opportunities are by cutting checkpoints, going through corners quickly where the AI is braking because they follow the racing line and you don't have to. And just breezing through like in the beginning, like what we did where we had a chance because the racing line said brake, brake, brake and the AI was braking and we could just wheeze through a little bit. So that's pretty much the approach that we were taking to winning this race. And that gets us to 60 points. There we go. So, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and until next time, farewell.